Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. And today we have some more Gran Turismo Sport, and this time we have another discussion video. In this discussion video, I'm going to be talking about everything wrong with Gran Turismo Sport. So starting this list of just everything wrong with Gran Turismo Sport. Is the AI. Now, the AI break in very weird places such as here and Eau Rouge, and you can see I've got nothing to do but understore and crash into the corner and have the Peugeot take me out of the race completely. So that's one of the many things that they do that just, it seems weird. So why would you need to brake at Eau Rouge anyway? I mean, Eau Rouge there's nothing wrong with Eau Rouge. It's it's a completely flat out corner, and you do not need to brake at Eau Rouge whatsoever. And the amount that they brake is ridiculous. So if you're a car behind and you've got nothing to do, like, why would you brake yourself? Like, I guess that just to stop yourself from slamming into the back of them because they're going so slow. And you might be thinking, oh, well, that's just fine. What are they, like, intermediate AI? But no, they're professional AI. The hardest, difficult AI in the game. Yet they brake at Eau Rouge, which is a completely flat out corner. And that's just not, that's like not the only corner that's supposed to be taken flat out that they brake at. They also brake at the first corner at the 24 Hours of Le Mans at La Sarthe, which is just like, you don't need to brake whatsoever, but you do need to brake for the second corner. That's the left-hander after the right-hander. That you do need to brake for. But that's because it's sharp. The first corner isn't really that sharp. So why are they braking there? Like, and the thing about having all these cars braking at points they don't need to, is like you're behind, and you literally have nothing that you can do because you're just pretty much just going to slam into the back of them. Or in the case with the Ferrari, you just swerve out the way that I did. But then I was on the left and I didn't want to be on the left and I had understeer and I hit the wall. Then the Peugeot was still coming and he just drove at exactly the wrong point and just sent me completely sideways and ruined my race. Because even though they brake at Eau Rouge, I mean, if you've been completely taken out, I don't think there's anything you can really do, to be honest. I guess you could still catch up lap after lap, but if that happens again, it's like you're going to have to catch up again, and it's just like ridiculous. Unless you can get to the front of the field and then just completely dominate the race, then you're pretty much screwed. But then again, you are going to catch up to them because they brake, which makes them slow, and it's just, there's so much wrong with it. I could talk for hours about how Gran Turismo Sport is rubbish, but the reason I play it is just because I don't know how to play iRacing or any of that, so I just play Gran Turismo Sport. I hate how, like, this game it's not really focused on racing at all. I mean, yes, it's a racing game, but there's still other things that you can do that are just kind of weird and sometimes even pointless, like maybe taking a photo for your car in a specific place. I mean, why would anyone want that? I know Gran Turismo 6 had some extra stuff, but that was cool stuff, like going on the moon with a moon buggy. I mean, that's quite cool. I like that. Another thing I don't like is how there's like road cars in this game. I mean, like, it's a racing game. Why do you have road cars in this game? If it's like it's designed to be a racing game, and there's road cars in it. I mean, I know that like you can race with road cars, but like it's just not as interesting as race cars. I would much prefer just to have a full game with just race cars. That would just be so much better than what we've got right now. And with the Ford GT, they, instead of taking the race car version and putting it in the game first, they put the road car version in the game first. Well, I don't even know if they're going to put the race car version in the game at all. So, I mean, if they don't, that's just ridiculous because it's a racing game, and even the fact that like they put it in first, just I don't like that at all. Also, the livery editor, there's things with that I just don't like at all, like how you have to have like a specific body panel, and then like you have a body panel selected, and then you can only put stuff on that body panel. Like you've got like the bonnet, the body, the wing mirror, that sort of thing. But it's kind of weird because sometimes you literally don't know what that part of the car is on that section. For example, other, it's like, what other stuff like? And sometimes I've literally had this where stuff that I thought would be in other are in the normal mode as I hit the wall. And that's just weird because, like, why can I not just have the entire car just to put a decal on and then have it be on all of the car instead of having bits of it not there because it's that they're in other and wing mirror and all that. I just don't like that. I don't like how also you can have like stuff that's just weird. Like if, for example, in this car, if you put something on the wing mirror, it will not only go on the wing mirror, it will go on the stuff underneath the wing mirror. That like the poles that are attached to the wing mirror to hold it up. The stuff, if you put it on top, it will go underneath that as well. It's just weird. I don't like that. Another thing is the AI. I know I already talked about them, but the thing is, if you hit them, they are full on solid and barely move, whereas you have literally no grip and you just like they're just full on solid. Yeah, you can take them out, but I mean they have like unlimited grip. I mean in the wet they are just the best in the wet. Like they just they're so good in the wet compared to you because you're sliding about all over the place because it's soaking wet with rain, whilst they're driving as if it wasn't the wet and if it was just the complete dry and there's loads of grip everywhere. But no, there is not, because it's the wet. I would like to see Polyphony Digital all get in a car, every single one of the people who made this game, then try and not spin out. I would like to see them try. Like, even with like wet tires or whatever. Like players who play this game in the wet, even with wet tires, you're still gonna like spin out and all that. You're gonna have no grip, so it makes no sense whatsoever. It's a bit like, it's another thing I hate in Project Cars 2, how the AI are just ridiculous. Another thing that I don't really like. Ooh, I'm gonna think. Another thing I don't like. I'm gonna have a think whilst you watch this. I know that this game is rubbish, but like I'm just trying to think. I've listed off a lot of things, but I still kind of, my brain is just pretty much switched off. Oh yeah. Okay. One more thing is how everything just feels too slow. Apart from that, look at this. All of that. Apart from that, everything just seems quite slow. Like, for example, the thing to tell you what distance you are from your car to the car ahead or the car behind, it is way off. I've had cars be right behind me, yet it says it's a massive gap. I mean, I know, like, if you, like, for example, if you crash, yeah, and then you've got a really big gap between you and the car behind, and then they catch up very, very suddenly, it stops, then disappears because they overtake you. So, or if they don't overtake you, they've still got a big gap, and then eventually, it takes a year, but eventually it does go down and back to normal. But it's how can that be so quick, yet the timer to tell me the distance between me and the car in front and the car behind. Maybe it's because there's so many digits and it can't just keep up. I mean, that right there, that is quite slow. Let's just let the camera adjust. There we go. But yeah, it's quite slow. Another thing I don't like is how, say you're in the pits and you are like in the lead, for example. You go to a pit stop and then it says you're in last. When you're coming out of the pits, you go back onto the track, and the moment you go back on the track, it then tells you in first. That is something that is very annoying because it just, you're like, you're like, oh my goodness, how have I gone from first to last? And then you go back and then it says you're back in first as I slide on the slippery curb. That's also a thing that I don't like. Is how some of the curbs in the game, like the green curbs, like that one there that just went past, they're so blimmin' slippery. I mean, you go on them and your car is done. Yeah, that one there, you see it. I think it's like the artificial stuff. It's so awful. And something here is the yellow curb on the outside. Oh, sorry, outside of the normal curb. That if you go on that, your car just doesn't like it at all. See there, I went on the green curb and it was shaking. They're all just weird and silly, and I just don't like them at all. In Suzuka, you can lose a race because of them. Like Spoon Curve, for example, it has the stuff on the outside of the track. If you understeer, you are done completely. You're just gonna go on them and just understeer. Yeah. So that is everything I really just don't like about Gran Turismo. I really hope Gran Turismo 7 is, or Gran Turismo Sport 2, or whatever the hell they call it. That game must be so much better. It must have just so much better about it. Like, I think only race cars maybe, and I think the categories like Group 1, you've got Group C and NLP1 and VGT all in the same category. It makes no sense. Group 3 is a mess with real life cars like this Mercedes, and then like Mustang Group 3, and it just, I don't like it. And I don't like how the cars like this have the Nürburgring sticker on them, but they appear in normal races everywhere, as I completely spin out. Yeah, okay guys, I am going to end the video there, but yeah, they've got the number, but they race at all the normal tracks. I don't like that. That shouldn't be a thing. But yeah, that is going to finish up the video. I hope you enjoyed. Remember to subscribe and like the video, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.